running from the lifeline. Just my 50,000 mutation. Spirit transition was died on the subway in NY. Stabbed by a serial killer high on morphine. I can still feel the pain. I was just 14 and 63. Then re-emerged at 75. Doing blowing Studio 54 with Donna Summer. Pumping overdosed in the back room from the cardiac arrest. 40 years later, airbag on my chest from the 3-car Impala while I was living out west. And the doc says I'm lucky, more Masiba than the blessed. And they checked me to a psych. What if I told them my dimensional relapse, conventional mishaps, all planned out, preconceived life quota. I wonder where, and I have no iota. Now you see me, now you don't.
And what's happening right now, Shawn, you were there at Original Art Expo, that a lot of artists, they're kind of using comic book character to create their own artistic career. You know what I'm saying? Without even without even being published. All they do, they're just going back and forth to different conventions and keep working on commissions endlessly. What I'm trying to say is, it feels to me like we're almost experiencing the birth of a new, not just an art form, an art market. It's not fine art market, but it's comic book art market, which is gonna be, if not as huge, as big as, you know, like Damien Hirst or Maurizio Cattelan, Jeff Koons, whatever name you want to come up with, but it's going to be really, really huge. Just to give you an idea, I heard from more than one collector that Frank Frazetta, which is unobtainable, the greatest. We did another episode to talk about what Frank did to this business and to the world of comic books and illustration. But the death dealer, the one, you know, iconic, standing on the horse, it's worth right now at least $20 million.
Oof. Holy shit.
This is the Inkpulp Podcast.
Yo!
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
Welcome. Bye, Simone.
Bye.
Welcome to the Inkpulp Podcast.
Welcome and bye-bye.
The shortest guest in the history of the show, Simone Bianchi, is with us. Thank you, Simone.
But the most brilliant one, by far.
And
Goes
the most
without
handsome.
saying.
And the most handsome.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We have an hour. You have an hour to prove that. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to get even more handsome through the hour. Like minute by minute.
He ages like wine.
I hope so. Actually, now that we're on the subject, Matteo, you're gonna get there. How old are you now, Matteo? 40?
I'm 31. No, sorry. I'm 41.
41. So I just finally decided, Shawn, you're closer to me, right? How old are you now?
I'm 51.
Yeah, you were born 1973, right?
2. I'll be 52 this year.
Yeah, okay, just like me. So if you saw me, Shawn, about 2 weeks ago in Orlando, and I had my full beard on, but I decided to cut them off on the side because it was getting way too wide. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna at least avoid these two sides of my face. I will keep my goatee, and maybe I will just lightly darken this a little bit because I'm feeling really like an old fart by fart.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Simone,
You know what?
like I think that there's nothing wrong with a white beard. I really like it. Like I'm getting my white ear as well, and I really like it.
No, Matteo, I'm not saying it's a bad thing per se. The white beard, I like that too. The thing, I like it a lot. But the thing is, for the past, I would say 4 to 5 years, my beard, it got so much wider, more wide.
Okay, it got wide really fast, so you're not adjusted to seeing yourself like that.
That's the point. So now I'm seeing myself in the mirror. I to the point where I can't recognize myself anymore. And it's not about not accepting it. It's about how fast it went. And so I definitely just like this, it's too much already. So I will, as soon as I would be done with you guys, I'll go downstairs and shave my cheeks.
Simone, I'm really glad that you left the goatee and the mustache, because otherwise, I have to say you look like a gypsy. So without them.
just like on Gomorrah, like the gypsy on Gomorrah.
Yeah, you look like the gypsy in Gomorrah, and we'll have Jamie, the editor, put the image right next to your face.
Yes.
So first of all, I know it's gonna sound weird. I never saw a single episode of Gomorrah.
Oh, by the way, no, we the title was wrong. It's Suburra, the one in Rome. The one with the Rome Mafia.
Right. Suburra. It was Suburra.
It's the same. It's the same producers and some shit. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I know Matteo, but I never seen Suburra. Neither I ever seen what is the
Gomorrah.
Gomorrah. Yeah.
Neither. So Gomorrah. So I don't know. I never seen a single episode. So.
Oh, Gomorrah's great. Gomorrah's great.
I'm sure it is. I heard nothing but phenomenal things about that. I never really had the chance. What about this? We keep talking and we leave Eric out of this for as long as the podcast will last.
Yeah, trust me. It's better like this. The moment he starts opening his mouth, the darkness starts, looming over us.
Yeah. He looks,
look at his face.
He looks so massive. Yeah. It looks like from the dark side of the Force by far, with the red. Wow. Hey.
Hello, Simone. Sorry I'm late.
I love you all, guys.
We love you too, Simone. Hey, Simone, don't darken your beard. It always looks wrong.
No.
I'm telling you.
No. Wait. No. Let me rephrase that. By far. Let me take 4 to 5 steps back. I'm not darkening by doing completely black, which it sucks ass.
It looks terrible.
And balls. It looks terrible. But when
like
I say
me.
darken in me, yeah.
Sucks ass and balls like me.
You sucks ass and balls, and it goes.
Eric.
I didn't say that. Matteo, I didn't say shit.
Eric is regretting this already.
Yes.
I think Eric's about to leave in 5 minutes.
Yes.
You guys are doing great. You guys are wonderful.
Eric, what you missed? But before we started recording, we had some gold. So I want to recap to you. Simone saw Matteo's dumb shark name and didn't understand what it was. So
the nickname,
yeah. So go ahead, Simone. Tell Eric what your issue with the name was.
Oh, it's a long story. Anyhow, I wasn't wondering. Yeah, I wasn't wondering about this dumb shark nickname, which is, honest to God, Shawn, is the first time that I see it on camera. And Matteo explained it to me that it's some kind of eating disorder that he has, to the point where when he is eating in a restaurant, he kind of eat everything on the table, even without realizing, or without to the point where there's actually no end to that. And so he said, I'm acting like a shark, meaning I'm eating everything, but like a dump shark. Now the thing is, and I was like 3 seconds serious with these two clowns right here. I was trying to explain these two jackoffs that actually, like from a scientific point of view, sharks, they actually can hit without an end, to the point where they can kill each other by how much they hit. So I say, you don't need to be a dumb shark for this science. You're just a shark. But then both me and Shawn, we assume that is again as well for the science. Matteo is dump, so dump shark it works perfectly by now. It couldn't get any better. So it's not because of the shark side. It's not because of the shark eating side. It's because of the Matteo side, which is the dump side. That's it.
Listen. I think Simone has. You guys have this handled. Simone's got my role.
Your role.
I'll see you guys later.
He's too happy to have your role. He's smiling. Look at him.
So I'm kind of sorry that Eric arrived, because since we were in a majority, Simone, my plan was to start just talking Italian and leave like Shawn completely out of the conversation.
Okay.
That was what I was planning, but then we started talking about something else. No, now we're not a minority. We're not a majority anymore. So it's 2 against 2. So
what about this? What about this, Matteo? We do it at the exact same time, simultaneously. We speak in Italian and they speak in American, but right at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure the viewers will love this.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
So, Simone, we were talking on the phone earlier, and you said basically that you've always been a drummer. You love drums, and I understand that because I'm a huge fan of drums. I've been a drummer for years, but you said that now you're practicing like 5 to 6 hours every day. Did I understand it right?
Yes, you understood it right, because I was talking to you in Italian. Maybe if it was in English, you wouldn't have understood that. But no, okay, let me clarify. So the thing is that as for the past 4 years, I really got back into drumming seriously. I'm listening to, I don't know if you, Matteo, are familiar with Drum.io, those Canadian guys, Drum.io. And they having like amazing drummers from all over the world. It's
I know, I'm not familiar with it.
Teaching. Yeah,
oh, they teach.
You should check it. I mean, yeah, but they usually have like Thomas Lang, or a month ago they had Mike Portnoy who just rejoined Dream Theater.
Which is your favorite drummer, if I recall it right?
No. I mean, of course, he's an amazing drummer. He's one of those guys that I really love to meet sooner or later. But I got so many different drummers. Anyhow, long story short, when the COVID hit back in
2020,
it's almost like 4 years ago. Yeah, in a month, it's gonna be 4 years for us in Italy. So it really hit me hard from a mental point of view, to the point where I was really not able to do my own work anymore. Seriously. Mm-hmm. I mean, I lost interest in drawing and painting for a short amount of 2 or 3 weeks. So I had to come up with something to fill up my days. I was with my family. We used to walk because we live in the countryside. You, Matteo, you came here, we're just surrounded by cornfields. But I mean, there's only so much that you can do walking every day. So just because I needed to fill up my days with something else to do, I just grabbed my drum kit from downstairs. I was having my drum kit in the cabin in the yard, so I brought it up and I started practicing again. I got all my very old book from when I was 16, 17, and I started practicing again. So that took off little by little, and now what it happens, I would love, and I would love to be able to practice 5 to 6 hours a day. But the truth of the matter is, I don't have the time. So I did, as Shawn knows as much as me, I did 2 conventions in a row, back to back in Orlando, which was Original Art Expo, which I love to talk about that. Just enormous credit to Bill Cox and Kash Ragambari. those guys, they put together something unfucking believable. And right the weekend after that, we had MegaCon, or Orlando MegaCon, and we did both. So, and right before those two shows, I really worked as hard as I could in order to get, ready and prepared for those two shows. So the way it works is when I come back home from that kind of convention weekends, I always take 10 to 2 weeks off, which means it's off from my regular, drawing and painting job, but it's not off from me practicing and watching videos and actually going and taking some serious lessons here in Tuscany, Bologna, and next time, Matteo, I would love to do and take a couple of lessons with Alfredo Golino in Brescia, which I'm pretty sure you know him. Is one of the best Italian drummer of the entire Italian music history. Anyhow, so yes, right now I'm actually doing it in a very serious way. I can show you something. Like right this morning, I wrote down my practicing routine. With all.
Oh, okay.
It's all in Italian, but ostinato con accenti, variazioni ritmiche, blah 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 blah. And as you can see, the last line is Rosanna drum loop, which is Toto Rosanna, which is one of the most impossible drum group to play. It's an halftime shuffle, and I have to play like 5 minutes in a row, just the groove, and there it goes again, like for 5 minutes in a row. But we only do have one life, and I'm 100% ecstatic with my work, with my job, with my my friends, my colleagues, and that's what I wanted to do. I actually still like painting and drawings much more than playing. I'm assuming because it comes much more easier for me. But music is it's just something that it never left me.
All right, Simone,
awesome,
let me
man.
ask you something. I want to back up a second. Yeah, that's great. We're going to talk about that too, but I want to back up a second.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Shawn is like, that's great. Anyway, I want to talk about this thing that I want to talk about.
You raised something that we need to talk about. You said when COVID hit, you lost your will to draw and paint?
Yes. Again,
shit, here we go.
I lost it for about 2 or 3 weeks.
That was the funny thing to me, because sometimes people were like, I lost the will to do something and I stopped for like 5 years. For you, losing that was just like, I lost it for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
But why? What about COVID hitting made that happen?
I'm under the impression, and Matteo can help me out greatly with this, that you guys in the States did not have the same the same come cazzo lo posso dire, Matteo? Non so neanche come.
Dimmelo italiano che provo in
No, non saprei neanche
severity?
come dirlo.
Is it severity?
No, the same impact, the same impact.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You guys got hit second. Like it broke out in China,
right
then
after
it
China.
hit Italy.
Yes.
So the world didn't know what was happening. Because I remember I was texting with Matteo. We were getting ready to go to Emerald City.
Yes.
And Matteo sent me a picture of Francesca in a hazmat suit. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And that's when he told me, and it hit
Shawn,
you
actually,
guys
that was a
sex
sex routine that we have. We always do that. We get ourselves in a hazmat suit, and then we have sex.
But I thought that was just.
Thanks for sharing that.
I thought you were the one
with the whole
Oh,
world.
but anyhow, I wouldn't have sex
I'll put
with
the picture
you,
in.
Matteo, not even with a full bodysuit here. So anyhow, no, I mean, jokes aside, we were the second place, because the first country, of course, we all know that it was China. But right after China, he hit us so badly.
And
I'm,
fast. Yeah.
and fast. It's like my white beard on my cheeks. The same. It goes the same way. And really, Shawn, when he got here, I mean, I don't know if it was just a Tuscany thing, but we had the feeling that the game was over. I mean, it was gonna be, it was gonna be, we're all gonna be sick. There's no cure, there's no vaccine. We're all gonna die of this. Or best case scenario, you're gonna have to, cage yourself in your house, just getting some rifle and fight for your life, the life of your family, and grow some plants in the yard to survive. To make things worse, a very close friend of mine, of course, and you guys, all of you know him very well, he got hit right away in the first week, really, really pretty badly. And he ended up in a hospital. And I talked to him in the morning. It was bad. When I explained this to you guys in the States, you American, again, I'm under the impression you really don't get what we've been through when it got here almost in
the early
place.
days.
Again,
That's true.
Yeah.
Like people I'm explaining this to you because thank God it blew off now and we got back to normality. But there was no guarantee that the whole world as we knew it was gonna come back to the way it is right now. And that what really left me empty. Somehow.
I got you. I got you.
Also, you know what I think it is? As you were talking, I had this thought. Like, if you ask an Italian, like basically any Italian, to list the three most important things in life, like for sure, health is gonna be either first or second, right next to family normally. So for us, like health, it's a value that is really important. So I think that we got hit in one of our most precious things. That's why, I mean, we had people that were opposed to vaccines and all that stuff, but in general we've been really, generally speaking, we've been pretty respectful of that. Of course, with time we started getting tired of all these rules and blah blah blah, so we had our problems too. But in general, like we've been pretty good with it, especially at the beginning, because we were really, really concerned,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Simone,
Anyhow.
can I follow up on something really quick? I've only been on for about 5 minutes or so, probably more, a little less. Have you spent time anywhere in the United States or in Europe where English has to be your native language?
No.
So you picked up English in what capacity? I'm curious.
I don't even know if Matteo can remember this, but when I was much younger, I'm talking when I was 20, we used to have a magazine which was called Speak Up. Te lo ricordi, Matteo?
No, I'm way younger than you, Simona.
Yeah, thank you, you piece of shit. So anyhow, thank you so much for the help. Okay, so anyhow, this Speak Up thing was a magazine.
Jokes aside, I generally don't remember it.
No, but I mean, it's really possible that you don't remember it, Matteo, because if I was 20, you were 10, and it was like a magazine, and they had VHS along with the magazine. So you had the movie with the English text and the subtitles, so that you were allowed to watch the movie, listen to the movie, and read the subtitles at the same time. Because the problem for us, Matteo can testify.
I know what you're gonna say.
Is to to connect the sound to the word, because it happens often that you can read something and you're gonna be able to read it with no problem. But then you listen to it if you're not really familiar with the language, and you're getting lost in 5 seconds because you can't put together sounds and words, which is pretty much what's going on with the music. If you listen to some great drummers, sometimes you struggle to understand what they're playing because you can put what you probably are able to read on drum tab, drum sheet, and what they play in real life and the sound of it. So that's how I got my first my first lesson of English. Then I'm glad you brought it up because I went in the States for the first time. It was 1998 in New York. We used to live in Brooklyn, Hope Street. That was the first time that I went visiting Marvel and DC, and I was lost, guys. Shawn, Eric, I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I know that feeling
really well, Simone.
yeah, like even worse, the first time that I went to San Diego 204, guys, he was so overwhelming because the size of the convention, which we were not used to, and the thing that I was not able to talk to editors because I wouldn't be able to understand them, and they wouldn't be able to understand me either. So that's why I decided I got to do something about that. But back then, I'm talking about 204, we had already, thank God, DVDs with the same option. You had it in Italian and in English, but with English subtitles. Now I'll be serious for 2 seconds. I'm so jealous of this little dumb fuck right here, Matteo, because he speaks a perfect English.
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah,
before you get too far, too far, Simone, here's the reason why I asked that question.
You see him? He's already stopping you because he hears there's a compliment coming directly to me. So he feels the need of immediately stopping the momentum.
He knows me really, really well. So here's one thing. I don't want to gloss over the fact that of all the things that you said earlier about like COVID and picking up drumming again, which is super inspirational, you found use for your time. You decided you were only going to be disassociated with your arts for all of 2 weeks. Shawn glommed onto that like the angel of death. That's the thing that he focused on. He said like,
because you
lost the will to draw.
About this thing about Shawn.
And I was like, that's so fucking on brand for Shawn to be like, oh, the will to live is the thing that Shawn is paying attention to. Okay, so second, Simone, I wrote a couple.
I'm the dumb shark. Yeah. You might not know this. Sorry to interrupt, Eric. It's just gonna be super quick.
Go, man. Go.
But, so I'm the dumb shark. And Shawn, we call him Hior, which is the donkey in Winnie the Pooh. You know, that's always sad.
Okay.
So he's Hior.
Okay, so I wrote a couple of things.
York. Okay.
Yeah. I wrote a couple things in the 5 to 10 minutes that Simone was talking right now and explaining that situation. And I quoted him. Okay, he said things like, "Best case scenario, right? To make things worse, got back to normality." And a phrase which is, Matteo can testify to this, conceptually really sophisticated use of language in as far as like, hey, this set of words is a higher level than like the books that my son has upstairs and reading about trucks and dinosaurs. And so that's what made me ask, like, did you spend any time in English speaking countries and or in the United States? Because turning phrases like that really, it's amazing. It's beyond conversational. It's like, that's how you can hold this interview. Right. So, when you gave me context, you said, I came from an age of VHS.
Yeah.
And so I thought like, motherfucker, this guy came from an era of VHS and is speaking enough so that I'm willing to like, give you the spot on this show so you can have it. Matteo had the internet, fucking DVDs with multiple like language choices. And all Matteo has spoken about in the time that I was here is he's talking about his like sex outfits for his hazmat girlfriend situation, and his overall preference for like cum in his mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's this weird disparity of like.
But Eric, to Matteo's credit, you're right 100%. But to his own credit, he does that with a perfect in the English, like without even an accent. I'm so jealous. Yeah.
And by the way, I can say this. Like, I've learned my English from some DVDs too. There were different types of DVDs. That's why I talk really well when it comes to talking about that kind of stuff, because I've watched a lot of DVDs.
A lot of gay porn DVDs, right, Matteo?
Shawn, let me tell you guys what kind of DVDs. Those were dildos DVDs. Like special edition dildos for Dump Shark from Emilia Romagna DVDs. But they did have like English subtitles because Matteo couldn't figure out what kind of dildos.
Oh, I wasn't jerking off. I was really focused on the language and the subtitles, just to make sure that you guys understand, right?
Yeah, just as long as we listen. I give Matteo, and I want to come back to a point that you made because I think Matteo went through the same experience, Simone, which is when he and I first met. And he's told his story multiple times where he took the chance to go to San Diego Comic-Con not knowing a ton of English. Matteo, would you say not even conversational? Right? It was
not even conversational. And actually, that year, Simone and I traveled together. The first time we met on the plane to San Diego.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what I want to bring up, right? I know Matteo's story when he wanted to go San Diego because it was motivated by, in order for me to get heavily involved in this business and meet as many people, I'm going to go take the chance, not knowing conversational. I think he even got lost in the desert. There's a part of that story. He just got lost in a motel.
I got lost in San Diego. Like, I booked the room for one day less than I needed. So I had to stay, spend the night with my luggage walking through San Diego.
Yeah.
No, because the last night you crashed my room the last night, right?
Oh yeah, right. That was So that
you
was
were lost.
Yeah.
You were lost. You did not have a room. I remember that because you messed up with the booking or something, and I was staying at the Omni in a nice room, and I had an extra bed, unused, to quote unquote, up to that moment. So I thought to myself, why don't put that bed to a good use? And that's when you came and bent over so nicely.
Hold on. I'm not done with my question yet.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
Hold on, Shawn. So the thing that I wanted to ask is, knowing, when you went to New York, Simone, you were saying you were in a similar situation, right? What was the deciding factor? What was the motivation for saying, hey man, I got to go to that side of the ocean and sort of like dig my heels in it? Was it for work? Was it for the experience? Was it for, what was the motivation there?
That is a great question. And I want to try to answer that question as honest as I can. I would say in the very first place, it was because of the work. Because I did back then, it was 1998. I did already a few things for Italian publisher, smaller publisher, and like 2 years before that, 1996, I was working for Sergio Bonelli Editore, which I think you, Eric, and Shawn are familiar with, which is the only big, serious comic book publisher that we do have, and we still, thank God, have in Italy. But for whatever reason, and don't get me started into the whole story, that thing didn't work out for me, which to this day is still the best act of destiny or God that ever happened to me, because he infused me with so much will, to show those people that those people were wrong, getting me, that the first thing was, if I'm not gonna get work here, you know what? I'm gonna be trying to get work where the business is stronger, there's more money involved, I can make a better living, even if that means that I have to, like watch some movies with VHS. And I mean, it's I know that talking about that today, it can really sound a little silly or out of context, but back then there was basically no internet. I didn't have an email address back then. There was not a chance. People, they were still sending sketches for cover approval through fax.
Yep.
Okay. AX. So it was just another word. And sure enough, if you flash forward to 2004, which is when I actually spent 3 months to answer your question, Eric. If I put together all the time that I came to in the States for my work, for the conventions, the 3 months that I was living in New York, I spent easily more than a year long of my life in the States. But again, the first time that I got there, it was just, like I'm trying, whatever. Yeah. I mean, not what can go wrong? Like if I didn't have any, like the job that I wanted back then, I was gonna come back in Italy, and I was not gonna have the job that I wanted, no matter what.
Sure, so Simone, like when you were in the States, what were you physically doing? Like other than probably drawing as well? Did you have appointments with editors over at Marvel, DC, or the publishers?
Yeah.
What was your way to trying to create those connections?
I'm glad you asked this question, because I want to confirm with you guys too, being all of you like professional artists for such a long time, and where the industry is going to. Because the thing is, first of all, to answer your first question, I was drawing nonstop. I'm talking about 2004 now. I was living in Williamsburg in a very small, shitty apartment with a close friend of mine, a tattoo artist, and his wife. And I was just drawing out. Back then, Matteo, I was drawing.
Is that Adriano?
The second book. Yeah, you know Adriano.
Yeah, I know. I know you.
Yeah. He put a couple of pieces on you too, right?
No, I don't have any of his art on me, but I know him pretty well because we have the mutual friends with Reno, my tattooer.
Reno, okay. I met Reno too. Yeah, sure. Okay, anyhow, I was with Adriano and his ex-wife. So anyhow, I was drawing like nonstop, and then at least once a week, I was just getting my backpack with my portfolios, all with original pages, and I would go either to DC or Marvel to show my work and to look for work. And at the end of that staying in New York, DC gave me my first job with Grant Morrison, Shining Knights of the Seventh Soldier of Victory. Thanks, Matteo. That was really a nice.
Sorry, I tried to resist for all this time, but I couldn't. I kept doing like it. So at a certain point,
as long as you know, okay, as long as you keep it to your nose, and that's okay. and you're not going any further, are you? Right? You're not going any further. So and then right before leaving Brooklyn, I met both Axel Alonso and CB Cebulski, which back then they were just regular editors, not even group editors. And I showed my portfolios to Axel, and they said, "Hey, listen, whenever you done with this DC project, we love to have you here at Marvel working for us." So the first time it was a flop. It was just, but it was a great experience. I learned so much, and I got to see New York for the first time. But the second time, it was much more effective, for a lack of a better expression.
Yeah, that's brilliant. All right, Shawn, I cut you off. What was your question?
Oh, dude, that question is long gone.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't remember.
But you were saying, Simone, that you wanted to talk about where the industry is going. Oh, okay. Sorry, Shawn. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
You said before talking about this thing, you said your experience in New York. You said that you wanted to talk about where the industry is going, like in your opinion. So I was curious to hear that, because we talk about that all the time with our guests to see where they stand in that matter. So I was really curious.
First off, Matteo, again, to be 100% brutally honest, I'm not reading a lot of comic books these days. I'm reading few graphic novels. I'm reading a lot of book. Like I'm reading Alejandro Jodorowsky, the last book that he came out like a month ago about his psycho magic, which is really weird. And I'm still on the fence. I used to be such a huge fan, but then sometimes he really can be. Anyhow, so not reading a lot of books these days. I'm not 100% aware about new writers. I mean young writers. Artists, I'm still keeping an eye on them through Instagram, of course, and the socials. Like I can have a feeling of what's going on from an artistic point of view just by looking at social. Other than that, okay, let me put it this way. It's my perception. And then you guys are, please, feel 100% free to let me know if I'm talking out of my ass or if that might be the case. That we are living in a situation where our industry is kind of taking two different ways, which are parallel ways, but still two different roads. One, as usual, as when we all started, like 25, 30 years ago, it's like publisher, companies, you're doing your work, interiors, covers, you're getting paid, you try to work on the best book, trying to sell the book you're working on as much as you can, get your royalties, God bless. But at the same time, in the past 15, 20 years, the original art market, it really took off to a level, to an extent that we would never be able even to think it was going to be possible up until 20 years ago. And what's happening right now, Shawn, you were there at Original Art Expo, but I had the same feeling, Shawn, in Orlando MegaCon as well, that a lot of artists, they're kind of using comic book character to create their own artistic career. You know what I'm saying? Without even without even being published. Some artists are so good, are so much into that they don't even need to be into the comic book stores, because all they do, they are just going. They're just going back and forth to different conventions, meeting their clients, their collectors, and keep working on commissions endlessly. What I'm trying to say is, it feels to me like we're almost experiencing, which would be a great thing to be experienced in first person, like the birth of a new art, not just an art form, an art market, a second, like it's not fine art market, but it's comic book art market, which is gonna be, if not as huge, as big as, like Damien Hirst or Maurizio Cattelan, Jeff Koons, whatever name you want to come up with, but it's gonna be really, really huge. Just to give you an idea, back 3 weeks ago in Orlando at Original Art Expo, I heard from more than one collector that Frank Frazetta, which is unobtainable, the greatest we did another episode to talk about what Frank did to this business and to the world of comic books and illustration. But the Death Dealer, the one, iconic, standing on the horse, it's worth right now at least $20 million.
Oof.
So we are
Holy
actually,
shit.
which is, I'm not saying that it's been sold for that money, but if the family decides to let that painting go, it's not going to be for less than that kind of money. For that kind of money, you can buy Picasso, a small Picasso. You can buy Monet. I mean, it's, we're getting there. Now, of course, it's Frazetta. It's one of a kind, but it's the first one. That to me, it might be hopefully an indicator of where the whole market is going to. And who knows, maybe in 30 years, there's going to be like painters that are working, hopefully these days, that are going to be worth just as much. So that's my point. But again, it's a very personal point of view because that's what I want to go to. But I also had like a 20 years personal publication history, where my stuff has been actually printed on paper. But again, the more I see the convention, the more I talk to collectors, the more I get to know them and the way they think about this as an investment, which is also has a very freaking fucking bad side to it. Because it's frustrating and infuriating when you see a piece that you put your art and soul flip out twice as much. But it is what it is. What I say,
it's part of the game.
It's part of the game. If I'm good at the moment that I sell one piece, either it's $1 or $100,000, and I'm okay with that price at that moment, you as a buyer, you are totally 100% free to do whatever the hell you want with that piece. And if you sell it for twice, 3 times as much, God bless, because my quotation, they're going to rise up as well. So I mean, again, I'm more answering your question, Matteo, on where the second market is going to, which is a market that has been generated by the regular comic book companies market and all of us doing our job, but it's going to some different places. Now, the only thing that is left to see if galleries, serious big galleries, are willing to take the risk, the chance to move towards us, because we are moving towards them already.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Well, I've become friendly, and Matteo knows Ali, a friend of ours who collects art. And
you mean fine art, right?
Yeah, no, comic art.
Oh, okay.
He was a comic book collector, like graded, slabbed classic comics worth lots of money, and he started to get into art. And this is what you're saying is exactly what he's been telling me. He was at Orlando. We drove down together, and he got a Kirby Thor page. He got a Wrightson page. I mean, he buys great pieces of art. But this is exactly what he's saying. And I don't know if you saw this week, but Heritage Auction House is now representing comic book artists, and they're going to be selling comic book art. Like they'll be the representative for the artist, the auction house. So I think you're right, and I think it's exciting, and there's a lot of good stuff to come out of it. I think the success of Orlando Art Expo speaks to this too.
Yes.
That what was your perception of the show? You enjoyed it?
I loved it. I absolutely freaking loved it. First of all, it was very convenient for all of us because easy. I mean, and easy because I mean, so guys, let's be honest. I'm 51. You, Shawn, are 51 too. It starts to be a colossal pain in the ass to have an hotel 5 miles off. You have to drive. You have to talk to like 1,000 of people. I'm talking about comic book convention. I love that. I absolutely adore that, but it's energy is draining like nothing else. I can't swim like 2 or 3 hours in a row and being fresher out of that, that swimming that after
Oh, your audio's gone.
Oh. Simone, your audio's gone. You hit a button.
Listen, let's cover for him. He said
Yeah,
something pretty interesting to me just now,
No,
which is like
we can't hear you.
we're-
But yeah, can I intervene
ahead.
about that? As soon as
Go ahead, man. Go.
we start hearing you, Simone, we'll tell you. In the meantime,
We'll come back. Yep.
As he was saying this thing, I was just it made me think. Okay, here he is.
I'm back.
Oh,
Awesome.
there you are. There you are. Okay.
Continue that thought, Matteo. Then we'll go back to Simone. Go ahead. It made you think what?
Okay,
Matteo,
so
what were you saying?
as he was speaking about that, it made me think, and this year, I was thinking, aside from the fact that since I'm doing my own book now, I don't have
Okay,
last year I
Mama,
didn't have
Mama.
a
This
lot
is
of
fun.
stuff.
This is my mom just breaking into the room. Di ciao. Ciao.
Ciao,
ciao, signora. Salve.
Matteo è un mio carissimo amico collega di Parma, bravissimo, eccezionale, mio amico.
Parla italiano.
Parla italiano e invece
Parlo italiano,
Sean e
sì,
Eric
sì.
sono americani.
Ok.
Sono americani e stiamo
Ciao.
facendo, quindi andrai in diretta anche te, secondo
Oh,
me.
figuriamoci. Volevo avvertirvi che la macchina è pronta. Solo
Ok, va bene, va bene.
Buon lavoro.
Vale,
It's
signora.
funny because I don't know if I love this. I wouldn't cut this. And
No, we're not
he
gonna cut it. We won't cut
yeah, he happened the same thing to me. I was in an interview with Todd, nothing less than Todd McFarlane himself. So we're on Zoom doing this interview because I did few covers for Todd last year. We are speaking one to another, very nice interview, like the type of things we're talking about. And out of the blue, a door, like the door behind Todd opens up, and it was his dad playing some kind of musical instruments. It was amazing. It was the best time of the whole interview. So anyhow, sorry. I'm so you were saying,
I was
Matteo?
saying, I
Matteo.
was saying that as he was speaking, I started thinking about something that I've never thought about, because the last year, 2023, I've been busy working on my book, so I didn't have basically almost anything coming out. The only actual thing that came out that year that I worked on is literally 8 pages on Batman, the Brave and the Bold. They're like black and white pages. I was really happy with them, but that's all it came out, other than just covers. Okay, but I didn't do basically any other interiors that got published, and still somehow I managed to make a pretty decent amount of money along the year just with those originals, some old original, 4 shows that I did, like Como, Abu Dhabi, New York, Seattle. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So I was actually, without knowing, I was kind of being in that lane that you were describing without knowing that I was there, So it's actually like you made me realize, that exists too. I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean it is what it's happening right now, and all I can say, I got to a point where I was really, really tired about doing interiors, because it was really draining and too many energies. You can do it when you're 20, 30, 40s. When you're 50 and you have a family and you have another passion like I do, you're always trying to, find different ways to do as much, if not, and in this case, it is more than I was doing when I was doing like regular interior comic book pages. And it's at this point, the only thing that I can tell you right now, I'm working on my own project, creator owned, with a writer, a big writer, but I have no deadlines. It's gonna be done when it's gonna be done, which is a good thing
awesome.
and a bad thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because if you
a
start
double-edged
thinking
sword.
about, I don't know, Exactly, because if you don't have a deadline, then people keep asking you commissions, paintings, covers, and you end up having that shit done. So starting from Monday, actually, I will be done with drumming for a good amount of time, and I will like dive headfirst into this creator-owned thing, and that's it. But again, I'm willing again to do interior pages, but for something that is gonna be mine 100%. And but again, I mean, it's that's where the market is going to. It's happening in Italy, it's happening in France, and of course, it's happening in the US on a much larger scale. Shawn, getting back to your question, AOX, again, I want to express my gratitude. Matteo, shame on you for not being there, because it was really a phenomenal experience, really quiet. I actually had the chance to paint 3 commissions on site, which I rarely do because it's too many, things going on, the signature, the talking to people, everything. And I mean, you deal with people who are 100% aware of what we're doing and why our work costs what it costs. Sometimes still in Italy, if somebody would stop to my table with my sister Gloria, who is my art rep and my agent in Europe, and they would go, "Hey, how much is this cover?" "For 10,000. And they went ballistic. No, they thought we were talking about, I don't know, like, cork tops, or I don't know, like, and Lake Como, OAX, Original Art Expo, all these conventions, they start to have clients and collectors who are 100% aware, not only of what our work it's worth money-wise, but how the whole market is working on, and where the prices are going. Which we'll see. It's going somewhere. If you ask me, there has to be a time, and it's gonna, according to, in my not humble opinion, unhumble opinion, it's gonna happen soon. There's gonna be a time where the market has to shrink a little bit, because the prices are going too fast and too high. So there must be a point where every kind of investment tools, they work this way. They go to a crazy, peaks, and then they shrink a little. But as the shrink will be done, at the end of the shrink, they're gonna be pump up again, and they're gonna be even higher, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think Matteo, did you have something you were going to say?
Yeah. No, I wanted to say again about the fact that I realized that you were talking that I was in that zone for this year. I personally, I'm still kind of guilty of being there, because I haven't done the same amount of work that you produced in all these years. So I still feel that I should do more in terms of published work. So to me, I'm not still in that place where I'm happy about, exploiting this kind of situation. I'm grateful because it, despite the fact that I didn't have anything published, basically, it allowed me to have a good life anyway. But I still feel the need, I think in my head, like internally, I think that I should do more published work, more interior work. But probably, I think that maybe in 7-8 years, I'll be in the same state of mind that you are and not feel guilty at all. I think it's just a matter of an amount of work done,
Yeah.
Can are we crashing up on like almost an hour here, Shawn? Because I don't want to hold Simone longer than here's a cautionary space that I want us to be aware of, right? Because I think when we start looking at the exception that is the pieces that are going from heritage obviously your guys' personal experience of how well your pieces of art are selling. The thing that's going to get caught in the blind side, and I think this is really important, there's a lot of components. Simone brought up a handful of things. People are starting to realize that there's value in the work, most specifically published work. Here is a component that if we're not careful, and I see this as a collective we, or the people who are in charge of keeping this thing going, if we are not careful about maintaining the health of the mainstream comic book industry, it will profoundly impact everything that we're talking about right now, right? Because
100%.
The reason why Matteo, Simone, Shawn, like anybody can leverage, like Simone just brought up a good point. The guy, there are artists out there who don't even need to draw mainstream books in order to take advantage of mainstream characters. And that's only contingent upon whether or not those mainstream characters are viable and they're actually evergreen. They sit up there. There's always going to be a value to them, but to the level where they can make a complete living just doing that exclusively. If the people at the front end aren't taking care of those heritage characters and all of those IPs, right, it has a trickle down effect to everybody else who's leveraging all of those IPs. So whenever I love this conversation, obviously take advantage, leverage the hell out of, the time that you have. Simone has a lot of notches on his professional belt, so his artwork is going to have a level of evergreen, right? Same with you, Maddie. You've been involved with a lot of really popular books and publications, but at some point there is a dam, right? Of the guys who are just barely coming in, who are barely trying to break in. They may have drawn like 10 issues. They may have drawn like 2 issues of like semi-popular books, but it's at the tail end of an industry that's already on the downgrade. Let's say that happens, right? So there needs to be a lot of cultivation, and there needs to be a lot of upkeep at the front end for our stuff to maintain the kind of prices that they're asking for, if that makes any sense, right? I just want us to be aware of that.
No, it makes perfect sense to me. First of all, I really love to know how healthy the industry, I'm talking about comic book sales, is right now, because I'm not sure. Somebody in Orlando was telling me that the numbers are actually stronger than 5 years ago, or somebody, they were telling me that the numbers were lower. So I'm not sure, but the thing is, if I'm sorry, we do have like 30 seconds left. If we do think about these characters, Marvel, DC characters, as a new mythology, okay, we can start a brand new generation of artists, not just us, the next 2 or 3 generation visual artists working with this mythology and doing, like some great artwork, some great paintings based on this mythology, as long as this mythology will stay healthy and alive, of course.
For sure. Good point.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna shut it down here. That was a great conversation. Simone, hang out for a minute after I hit stop.
Thanks.
And
thanks,
thank
Simone.
you all for listening.
It was great.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you so
Matteo,
much.
you wanna send us out of here with your bye-bye?
This is the Inkpulp Podcast.
Hey guys, my new sketchbook, Dumb Shark, is finally out.
That's great, Fratello. Congrats. Eric, what do you think?
Wow, Matteo. This book has really changed how I think about art. The style, the details, the inking techniques, not to mention the colors. Everything on this book is off the chart. You are so far ahead of any other artist, especially me. I know I always say I don't like your Mr. Freeze book, but that's actually a lie. I was just jealous of your incredible talent because I love everything you do, and sadly, I know deep in my heart that I'll never be at your extraordinary level. You truly are the best artist on planet Earth. This book is a game changer, man. I think everyone out there should go and order Matteo's new art book, Dumb Shark, before it sells out.
Gee willikers, Eric, that was an incredible endorsement. You really made me want to buy it. How can I get my hands on it?
You can find it on www.essentialsequential.com, or if you're in Europe, you can order it on www.pulps.fr.
Wow, Eric. I didn't know you were such a big fan of mine. Thank you. I really don't need to add anything else. You said it all.
What an asshole.
Wait, what?
Hi, welcome to Connie's Corner Tips. Today we're going to discuss the top reasons to own a home. So number 1, feeling of accomplishment, a sense of pride that you own something. Number 2, for many of you, it's for the kids because those are just these blood-sucking little animals that you got to get everything for. Number 3, stability, locking in your monthly housing cost. Number 4, financial investment, growing your assets, just another part of your portfolio for retirement. Number 5, comfort, enjoying the features that enhance your lifestyle. Number 6, privacy, just having a space of your own so you can escape from everybody. Number 7, personal expression, paint those walls red, yellow, blue, whatever you want. And then number 8, community, being part of a larger social group. It's just nice to be out, have neighbors that you can grow and love, and have your kids play and just enjoy life.